So today we have the PM Enrich Masterclass. The topic is Leadership in the Times of Change. The speaker is Bindu Bhatia. Ms. Bindu Bhatia has over 20 years of experience in learning and development, coaching, and in driving organizational development initiatives for clients across industries. Ms. Bhatia's experience spread across organizations of various sizes, spanning multinational giants to agile startups. Accenture, GE, Capital, Mercer, Dell, EMC 24/7, Schneider Electric, Ariba, and SAP are some of her clients that she's worked with. Ms. Bhatia facilitates powerful workshops on coaching for middle and senior managers using her blended methodology of neuro-linguistic programming and emotional intelligence. The program designed by her have won several awards, including Association of Training and Development Best Award, Golden Peacock Award, and recognition at the World HRD Congress. Ms. Bhatia holds a master's degree in organizational psychology, a diploma in instructional design, and a diploma in transactional analysis. In addition to this, she holds several certifications, including Certified NLP Master Practitioner and Coach, 6 Thinking Hats, and First Things First. Let's give her a big round of applause and welcome on stage for this session.
Good morning, everybody. So he made me nervous by my introduction. Let me tell you what I really stand for. What I'm expecting is a lot of interaction and not one-way download. Are you expecting the same? Then you'll have to speak up and clap really, really loud. Yeah, okay. This much is enough. So, tell me, what do you do when you have headaches? Come on. Ceridon, take a tablet. Sorry? 3/4 water. Okay, that's why I said come in the front. I hear differently. Okay, so what do you do when you have a joint pain? Take rest. Move. Okay. So I have a little daughter, 4.5-year-old, and if she has a little bit of cut or something, some scratch, she knows what to put. Band-Aid, Mickey Mouse wala. How many of you have children here? Super. So they know, right? Band-Aid. So what do you do if, say, you get a burn in the hand? Quickly. Burn all. So many times, since childhood, whenever we've got any kind of physical hurt, we know what to do. Agree? Through whom? Parents, education system. But doesn't it happen that in our life, we do fall down emotionally? We do get some cuts, some burns emotionally. Anyone who has not ever felt hurt in life? Everyone. So, unfortunately, our education system doesn't have a very formal program around how do you manage your emotions. When you're rejected, when you fail, when you go through some tough times. And then what has that really elicited too is, I'll just give you a quick number. From the age of 16 to 40 years, across the world, the biggest reason of death is suicide. And this is UN and WHO data. And what does that tell us? Lack of emotional resilience across the world, and that is growing and growing. Agree? So, I have spent last 20 years in leadership development, learning a lot of stuff around emotional intelligence. And luckily, we have artificial intelligence as the second session. So, my mission in life is I meet as many people as I can. I reach out to as many folks like you who've come here, especially to learn, to just enhance that emotional resilience. So even if most of you can take at least one tool that we cover in next 3 hours, my day is done. So can you just make a little commitment to yourself and to these 3 hours that you're giving to just look at all the tools that we cover today and take away one that you like the most? Yes, no? Super. So that's me, Bindu Bhatia, and I need a lot more energy from the room for me to get going. Are you with me? Yes. Okay, super. So how many of you have papers and pens ready? There's a lot of writing work. So please take out your pens and papers. Heard about this game? A minute to win it. You can expect all the unexpected in this session. Moving around, doing a lot of stuff that you've never done before in the seminars. All of you are ready? Now raise your hands, those who write with their left hands. Super, the 2 gentlemen there. So now you hold your pen in your right hand. And all of you, the rest of you, hold your pen in the left hand. Have you done that? Are you ready? Okay. So when I say start, so I have these nice smiley balls if you want to. I'll tell you what to do with those. But when I say start, what you need to do is you have 1 minute to write your full name 10 times. And your time starts now. Come on, quickly. And my team is here to pester you. And look at how many names have you written so far. Come on. The one who writes maximum number of times, I'm not going to complete this sentence, but quickly. Do your best. Come on. Only 2 times. I can see it from there. Come on, quickly. I can't even read what you're writing. Quickly, quickly, with your left hand. Yeah, life is not fair. Super. Quickly, quickly. Why are you cheating from the neighbor? It's your name. Quickly, quickly. Come on. Okay, so your time is up. Stop writing. Stop writing. All of you, raise your hand. Okay. Stop writing. I have my people around to see who's cheating. So how many of you have written more than 5? More than 6? Oh, yeah, less than 5. Dhanyavad. Thank you. So, how many has written only 2? Boss, 2, 3, 4. These are people with long names, I'm guessing. Okay. 5, 6, 7. Whoa, okay. 8. Whoa. Okay, so 9. You've written 9 times? Anyone else who's written 9 times? 9. Sir. You're writing with your right hand, right? With the left hand. You cheated, sir. So anyone who has written with left hand, 9, earnestly, 12 times, sir, please catch the ball. Give him a big round of applause. What's your name? BB something? Jovi. Lucky guy. See, happens now, life is not fair. So, yours is 24, ab kya kare? Okay, so what I want is one person who can come here and do the writing work for me. Come on, quickly. Okay, wherever. I'm throwing up the ball and whoever catches it needs to come. Come, come, come. Good. So what you need to do is tell me, how did you feel when you were writing with your left hand and right hand for you two gentlemen? So slow. Speed was slow. What else? Uncomfortable. And you'll need to write quickly. Fingers shaking, trembling, okay? You were not able to focus, sorry, you said. Oh, okay, so mirroring. So basically quality went down. No, bad quality, okay. Exciting, okay. So you got comfortable after 3-4 times. Feeling bad, okay. Tension, yes. So how were you feeling when I was pressurizing you? You can say that, it's okay. Huh? You... Okay, now you know the pain. So you don't want to pressurize your son to write. Super, okay. So what else? Sorry? Question about what? So why am I even doing this? You know? That's... who is this teacher who's come on the floor and making us write? So, okay, you have written that. Right, bad teacher. See, good or bad, you have to stay here with me for next 3 hours. Okay, so thank you so much. What's your name? Gaurav. Gaurav, thank you so much for your patience. So, we can clap for him. So now you must be thinking why we did this. So give me like 1 more minute. Okay, how many of you, raise your hands, how many of you like Rajnikant? I know, she's like, How many of you like Salman Khan? Yes! No, not many people, huh? I like Salman Khan. You don't like Salman Khan? Come on, Bala. You got to like Salman Khan. Okay, so how many of you like the color pink? You don't like color pink? No? I'm asking you, yeah. Okay. Why? How many of you like Karela, the bitter god? So many people. You don't like color pink, you don't like Salman Khan, but you like Karela. Not fair. Life is not fair. See, she's giving it back to me. Thank you. That only makes me feel that you're listening. Okay. So, would you agree that there are some things that we like and there are some things that we don't like? And when we like something, there could be some reason specifically, but when we don't like something, it's difficult to explain at times. Ab nahi pasand to nahi pasand what? Agree? Very difficult to explain. People who have kids here. So my daughter, 4.5 years, but when she was 1.5 years, she had her own choice. I don't want this Mickey Mouse and thing. I need nice floral designs. So she would, just discard. There was Mickey Mouse, all the shopping that I did for her, it was all discarded. So do you agree? Children also have some preferences? So can we say that all of us are born and brought up with some natural preferences? Agree? And over the period of years, we do develop them as well as per our experiences. Agree? Writing with your right hand, except for those two gentlemen, writing with your right hand was a natural preference. The moment you were asked to change that natural preference, what happened? And look at the forum. I don't even have your appraisal to do. There's nothing on stake. I didn't tell you what I'll give you. Those smiley balls. But still, all of us underwent all these feelings. This is what happens when we experience change. And it is, a good news is that it is all human. It happens, it's natural. So today, what I'm asking and requesting you to take away that one thing that you're going to change in yourself, remember that there is a cycle, and you will feel when you are about to change those things in your natural preferences, you will feel some or more of these feelings. Remember, it is okay. Because remember that lady who said that after 3-4 times, it was fine. I was comfortable. Right? So, I will be talking a lot about neuro-linguistic programming. How does that sound, Jazzy? Have you heard about it? A little complicated, but it's very easy. So my mission today is share with you some implementable tools, share with you something that you can just immediately go back and change in yourself, consciously, to build your emotional resilience. And I'll share with you a very insightful concept around how our brain works, with no jargons. How does that sound to you? Yeah? What you need to promise is that do not consider this as a formal conference for these 3 hours. Consider this as an interactive session where you can ask questions. I'm there throughout the day. You can catch up in breaks. I will be available even after that. But whatever is coming to your mind, ask. Okay? If I'm not able to handle too many questions, then we'll park it. But treat it as a self-change program. How does it sound? Yeah? So while we are wearing these, I need some promises from you. So here are some of the feelings that you went through. So let's talk about objectives first before we... So 2 very, very quick objectives of the session. What does this picture indicate to you? If this wall is change, metaphorical to change, then what does this picture indicate to you? Life is unfair. Okay. Sorry? You need an umbrella. Yeah, it could be a tool. There are some people... Absolutely. So ladder is again a tool. So there are some tools that you can use and be the winner in the times of change. So first objective is, how can I be the winner in times of change? And the second objective is learn how to pull up others in times of change. When they are feeling life is not fair, this is what has happened to me, how do you pull them up? Fair enough? And even if in both these pieces you can take one tool that you can implement, my day will be made, your life will be made. And I can promise that. And I can also promise that this is not a general cliched session with all the gyan. You will definitely learn something new. Yes, sir? The first 5 reasons. Okay, so let us look at it together. Thank you for bringing that. So, any other thing before we start? Would you at least agree that emotional resilience is needed in these times? Okay. So, some promises from you. And what I can promise is that these 3 hours can change a big part inside you if you are there individually, fully here with me. Okay? So no phones and other engagements. Can you give me these 3 hours? What I can promise is that when you go back, you'll have a lot more insights. Empty your cup. What does that mean? Have an open mind. So you don't need to unlearn what you've learned, right? But still have an open mind to add some more things. Mind has a lot of capacity. So if you know certain things, if you don't agree with certain things, it's okay. I'm good with that. But I'm sure that in these 3 hours, there'll be some things that you will agree to. Take that. How does that sound? We are all different people. We believe in some things, we don't believe in some things. So it's okay. But take it what you believe in. So empty your cup. Second, I have a little story to tell you for the second point. So I belong to Delhi, a very lower middle class family we were, and my dad was a businessman. And I remember in my childhood, when I was like 6, 7 years of age, every Sunday, my dad had a holiday, so we used to be at home, but our gate of the house was always open. We used to live on the second floor. Early in the morning at 7, 8 a.m., there would be people like banana wala, newspaper wala. Guess what? Not to sell. They used to come to meet my dad. Then there were people who were DIGs, district judge, their relatives, big people. But they would come and just sit with my dad. Barani Saab, it's always nice to talk to you. Thank you. So I used to witness all of that. And my mom, as usual, she was a housewife and she would always bring a cup of tea and biscuits. But now that I've grown up, when I look back, what I realized was that the quality of the biscuits never changed for anyone. It was same for everyone who entered in our house. The quality or the tone in which my dad spoke to people was always same, respectful and insightful. So the second part that I want all of you to remember in this entire session is the rule for respect. Can we do that? So when one person is talking, we just put our judgment hats down and just understand the gist, what is meant by it. Are we okay with that? Respect the speaker, whoever is speaking, and we'll go along. This is going to be a little intense session. Are you ready for that? If you're not, then also you don't have a choice. you still spend those 3 hours. But to get the maximum out of this session, give more. And that's the last point. Reflect. Reflect in your personal life, professional life. How can I implement this? How does this tool match my personal life, professional life, at work? Okay? We'll move ahead. Okay. So our first part of what we are going to do today is, how to be I on the top of the game? Remember the guy with the umbrella? How do I get there? So it's more of self-reflection. It is more of, how do I know what's happening to me to start with? So let's move ahead. What does this picture tell you? Forcing someone, okay? Anyone from here? Having fun. Sorry? Teamwork, okay. Can you look at the expression of the person sitting on the chair? She's scared, but the person who's pushing. So have we played some role ever, like both of them, in life? We have, right? So in life, we have some inflection points. What do you mean by inflection points? There are times when we had to move from one step to other step. So what we need to do is, people who are sitting here, choose one partner who's sitting on your right side. And if you don't have a partner, please call people from behind. So all of you can come ahead. We have a lot of seats here. So choose a partner and share that one inflection point of your life. I'll give you a very small example, quick example, okay? It could be as simple as this. So I have been into leadership development since like long time. I don't look that old, but I am. So long time, I was very good at PPT. I loved PPTs. So you'll see some good quality slides here as well. But when it came to Excel, I used to feel like Darshil in Tare Zameen Par, numbers jumping up. So till one point in my career, it was fine. But the moment I got into the management level, the PPT started reducing, or it was like a daily stuff for me. But I had to create a lot of reports, learn how to do that. And here's my new boss who comes and says, I don't want to see PPTs. I want to see Excel. And I'm like, shoots, that's not happening. He wanted me to create a project plan. I know you all love it. It was like first time for me. I like, okay, but I'm telling you I'm working on 21 things. He's like, but where are those 21 things? I'm like, yeah, I can tell you. No, we need to write. He made my life hell. I tried. 1 week, I did not make it, and I kept convincing him. Sir, I'm telling you that is the case. So he's like, no, unless you show me what you're working at, I am not going to take it. So one day, so luckily, my husband is a project manager. So I got to make him sit and wrote everything and created this one jazzy Excel sheet. That's the point when I myself realized, wow, Excel is not that bad. So from there, it was an inflection point, and I started learning, and today, I'm better at Excel than PPTs. So there was a time when there was an inflection. I like project plans now. Now I pester my team. Make a project plan, then come. But I felt like the lady sitting on a chair at that point in time. It took some time for me to learn and move ahead. Now this is a very light, small example. What were those inflection points in your life? Choose one. Share it with the person sitting next to you. And one thing that you need to share it, how did you feel when you were going through that phase? Got it? So quickly, I'm giving you like 2-3 minutes to share with each other, then we'll come back. Okay, so we are done. In the interest of time, I'll need to just stop this exercise right now, but we have breaks to discuss old bosses more passionately. But tell me, how did you, so how many of you, when you had that inflection point and when you were going through that, felt uncomfortable, felt something negative going on? Not comfortable. So raise your hands. Most of them, okay, yeah, most of you. And how many of you really felt good, even during the journey? After some time, but immediately, I mean, immediately no one? Awesome, okay. So here's the deal. There are times when we go through change, and for some people, it's very easy. Okay, we'll do it. There's some people who are able to make it after some time, and there's some who take more time. And it also depends on what kind of change it is. Agree? So all of us have that capability. Quick change, thoda sa time, and then we get comfortable, and very long time, and maybe we never change. So I'm going to show you something, a video, which talks about some aspects of change that we're going through and what is the key element. Okay, so let me not just...
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen, the future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
So what's your takeaway? What do you think the video is implying? Anyone? Sorry? Change is exponential. How many of your dads used to work in banks earlier days? Some people in government offices. So there was a time when everything was getting computerized. That was one type of change, and it took like 5, 6, 10 years, a decade to get that change. People were given voluntary retirements who were not able to give, but I remember people going through tremendous pain in that whole change process. At that point in time, the change used to take around a decade. Today, there are 10 changes in a day. Agree? And that is why, what is the most important aspect to be with the times of change? Be part of it, okay? Sorry? Be flexible, be agile. And it sounds almost like a gyan, be flexible, be agile. And it's very easy for me to stand here and tell you that. But in this session, I'll be also talking about some implementable, quick exercises and tools that can help you deal with those changes, that can help you deal with different situations. Sounds good? We'll start. So key lesson here is, we've seen organizations like Kodak, Nokia, Ambassador, got sold in some few $17 million into 2017, Ambassador. Whereas if you look at our Mahindra, look at the kind of innovation they are into, billions of dollars of revenue. Kodak used to be the king in the industry back in 18th, 19th century. And they were absolutely bankrupt when Fuji Films and Polaroid took over. But remember, Kodak came with the digital technology first. But what happened was they couldn't make it because the people in Kodak were not open to invest more in digital technology. They decided to invest more into what's working well now. That was the transition point. Have you read those case studies? And that's why I'm not spending too much time in that. I know you know that, you've been there, done that. So, and a lot of people are talking about these case studies now these days. So key lesson of all that you have learned till date about change is that it is inevitable. और एक बहुत ही cliched line है. Change is the only constant. But it is true, right? Now, if we don't believe in this, then we are moving towards extinction. Extinction is a very heavy word, but I know that you know what I mean, right? And what is the quick formula to excel? Now I'm going to show you a line here, and you tell me what it means. Inner speed of change greater than the changes happening outside. Sorry? Building willingness to accept the change, absolutely. You lead the change yourself, be the change yourself. Again, those things that you've already heard. So now I'm going to share with you a quick thing about why we react the way we react, why people react the way they react in times of change. And this is something that's happening inside us. What I need and promise is that you will be here with me, fully concentrating for next 20 minutes. That this can absolutely change the whole system in which you think. You okay with that? I need one volunteer who can write fast. So what I'm going to do is, I'll tell you 4 situations. And you need to give me quickly the answers of what will you do in those 4 situations. Simple? Okay, and he's going to write those answers here. So we have 4 blocks. Situation number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just write the whatever responses come. A lot of writing work. Okay with that? Super. So people, ready for the first situation? You decide to buy your first house. What's the first reaction? What is it that you're going to do? Budget, okay? Location. Explore. So people at the back. Loan. Area. Schools are there or not? Okay. Amenities. Okay. So we're done with this. Lot of stuff to think about. We got loan and we have bought the house. Wipe out the situation. We move on to the next situation. Okay? The next situation is, how many of you have traveled outside the country? Most of us. So this is the first time you're going to a country, a new one, and you're traveling in a local train. Okay? Imagine in that local train, the moment you're about to get off, you realize that you lost your wallet. What is going to be your first reaction, first thing that you feel? Panic, okay? So ऐसे होगा कि, oh, wallet गुम गया, okay, let me just check. You won't do that, right? So what is that first reaction? Oh my God, what is the feeling behind that? Oh my God. Yeah? Worry, stress, okay? But you won't do that as a first thing, right? Oh, wallet gum gaya. Hello, my wallet is lost. You won't do that, right? So first reaction. Shock, hurry, adrenaline rush, sorry? But before you go ahead and check back, you'll have the first reaction, right? So, okay, this much is enough. You agree with all of it? Okay, third scenario. You got your wallet. Don't be tensed. Wipe it out. Okay? Now, third scenario. And you'll be honest. Huh? Las Vegas rule. Whatever happens here stays here. So you can share. Nothing goes out. Rule for respect. Yeah? So, you're working till late in the office. That's a normal, usual thing. And just when you're about to go back, boss comes in. And the boss comes in and says, hey, you know what? We have our vice president coming with CEO and 5 government officials. There's a chance that we get this biggest project of our company. And what they want to quickly see is, what do we do in our process? How will we be able to handle it? So in next half an hour, please make that slide, and you need to present in the boardroom. First reaction. Frustrated. Happy, okay. Huh? It's normal, okay, let me do it, okay. Angry. Dekha jayega. But first reaction, first, OMG. The feeling behind OMG is, we all understand that feeling, you know? Okay. So, you'll be like frozen. Okay, so frozen, okay. So, you were able to give that presentation and you did a very good job, and then you go back home. Yeah, wipe it out. Situation number 4. With me? So when you go back home, it's a nice, pleasant evening. And you decide to step out and go to the lawn, a park, lush green garden. And you just decide to take off your shoes and just feel the grass. The dew drops on the grass, touching your feet. You're just enjoying that walk, enjoying that. Enjoying the breeze on your face, and smelling the flowers, and it's just awesome how the weather is. And Bangalore is anyway blessed with great weather, so you're just enjoying your walk. And while you're walking, suddenly you see you're about to step on a cobra, and now he's hissing at you. First reaction. Scared, jump, okay? Run, okay? The heart stops beating, okay? Sorry? I didn't get you. Worship, huh? Cobra ji, okay. I can believe that. Huh? Wow, now you're being wild, huh? Not the cobra. He's saying, see the reaction of cobra. Which breed is this cobra? Sounds unbelievable. Okay, so first of all, let's give him a big round of applause. And one smiley for you.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you, what's your name?
Raghavendra.
Raghavendra, thank you for this hard work. So these are the 4. So basically you were not bitten by the cobra, you ran away. Or the cobra ran away. and you were saved. But have you thought, in all these 4 situations, almost all of us felt the same way? And different degrees of emotions? So now in next 15 minutes, I'm going to share with you what happens inside the brain. Okay? And you need to look at the board to understand it really well, and you can focus here so that it's projected. Okay. I have a very bad drawing, but I still chose to do it. So you imagine that this is this portion, the head. Okay? And this is the brain stem. Now tell me, a sales leader, what is the prime responsibility of a sales leader? Get revenue for the organization. To get that revenue, do whatever you want to do. You have processes, resources, right? Now, what is that primary responsibility of the brain in our body? Control emotions, but for what? To think, but for what? Reaction, but for what? Survival. Thank you. Survival is the core responsibility of our brain. Okay? So whatever we do is for the survival. When we get information from the environment, we get it in the form of senses. Agree? How many senses? I'm showing you. Which ones? 6 sense की बात नहीं कर रहे अभी हम, but it's still there. So first sense, sight, ears, smell, touch, taste. Yeah, 5 senses. Now with these 5 senses, the information gets into the brain. And there is a small part here, and I'm not going to load you with a lot of jargons around brain, but I've just devised an easier way to explain. So just be with me. Now, there is a quick calculation of threat level of that information for our survival. And threat level could be low, medium, or high. Agree? So buying a house when you already have one to live in, what kind of threat level will your brain perceive it to be? Low? All of you at the back, are you following me? Are you there with me? Okay. So what is the threat level? Low? When the threat level of any information is low, then the information travels to the farthest part of the brain, which is called neocortex, which is our logical brain. So remember your responses, budget, calculations, location. So you were able to think very logically. Because the threat level to your survival is low. But the moment the threat level to survival of that information is medium. Losing your wallet is an indirect threat to your survival in an unknown city, especially if you had your passport in it, right? So that means that it's a medium threat level, indirect threat to your survival. Boss shouting at you, medium. For some it's low, for some it's medium, right? So when the threat level is medium, why medium? Because shouting at me, which means, this is how brain works, right? Shouting at me, boss doesn't like me anymore, I might lose my job. If I lose my job, I won't have money. If I don't have money, I will not survive. So indirect threat level. So now that we have a medium threat level, the information doesn't go that far, goes to another part of the brain, which is called limbic brain. Limbic brain is responsible for all the hormones, all the emotions that we feel. So when you are angry, what happens to you biologically? Yeah? Inside, can you feel something in your body happening? What happens? Blood pressure high ho jata hai. For some people, so my face goes red and I feel this lump in my throat. Do you have those physiological symptoms? When you're nervous, trembling, heart rate increases. Some people feel the sweat. Some people feel butterflies in the tummy. So these are all signals to the brain that it's a medium level threat. So brain then sends signal to the body. This is how you feel that. So emotions are attached. So then it is decided how we are feeling. Now when there are certain chemicals attached to that feeling, so chemical locha, you remember? Which movie had chemical locha? Munna Bhai, good. So chemical locha hota hai, and then after some time it settles down and information goes back to neocortex. So I'm sure you've been through situations where you immediately reacted and then you felt, not required. So that is what happens inside. The brain immediately perceives this as a medium level threat, and then information is sent to limbic brain. Chemical locha happens, you start behaving the way you did, and then after some time you feel, oh my God. Now coming to high threat level, when it's a direct threat, cobra. Matlab ab to gaye. So then what is it that it goes to? So there is a special part in our brain which is called reptilian brain. Heard about it? It's called reptilian brain, and it is responsible for core survival. Core survival. So which means heart needs to breathe. So when you're sleeping, do you wake up and say, hey, heart, please breathe? It just is autopilot, right? So you're walking down and then, hey, wait, I forgot to take breath. Now tell me. Aisa hota hai kya? No. So it's on autopilot. Sometimes happens when you're driving home, when you try to remember what happened on the road, you don't even remember that. You're just driving with your reptilian brain. So some things that you do over and over again and some natural programmings that happen is stored in your reptilian brain, also called as unconscious or subconscious brain. Yeah? So reptilian brain doesn't think logically, doesn't have emotions, it just acts. So what happens is sometimes your friends come here and aur batao, and then you're like, reflex hota hai, you know that he won't hit you, but still there is reflex. Now that's reptilian brain working, because reptilian brain is interpreting that information as a direct attack. So those reflexes are also stored in reptilian brain. So when you sight a cobra, what happens? Either you run, or you scream, or you get frozen. But there are some scream, run away is all physical stuff. So you just take action. Okay? So threat level, low, medium, high. Now, what does that essentially tell you? If we know this, what you need to remember is how you react to a situation is dependent on what is the threat level for you, for your survival, that you have attached to that particular information. Now tell me, how many of you have lived in villages or farmhouses? Great. You have seen snakes around? Simple. The way they will react looking at the snake and the way I will react looking at the snake will be very different. Because their threat level is lower, a little slightly lower than my threat level. And that's why when boss comes and shouts at you, it doesn't matter what he or she is saying. What matters is how much threat level I have associated with that stuff. If I have a great camaraderie with my boss, I'm like, okay, ho jayega. Don't react, because the threat level is low. I know he's not going to chuck me out, he's just in a bad mood. But if I have a high threat level attached to it, I don't have that kind of bonding with the boss. What happens? Threat level high, and I'll react. Maybe type a resignation letter or something, or shout back, or do whatever in emotions. So I'll take a quick pause here. Any thoughts? Yes. We can, and I won't use the word manipulation, but we can reprogram the thought, the threat level. That is what is called neuro-linguistic programming. So you reprogram what you're telling yourself. I'll give you certain tools. And what will happen? That you can reduce or adjust the threat levels and change your reaction. It's as simple as that. Interesting? See, this is a rhetoric question. You have to say yes, you can't say no, but gives me a boost. So, are you trying to seep it in? Now, always remember, and why I'm sharing this with you in this forum is, again, a quick, you will get some handouts which will have these details so that you remember it and you can, so don't worry about writing about it. But what it essentially means is that our brain, by default, perceives any kind of change as a high threat level. And that's why the way we feel, we feel. So in times of change, what is important is for you to assess what is the threat level. Why am I feeling that fear? And also, how many of you are leading teams here? Excellent. So now you know why your people are reacting the way they do. So if you're able to talk through your teams and reduce the threat level, the reaction will be very different. With me on this? So this is the core of, and this whole portion is called triune brain theory. What I have attached it with is emotional intelligence and neuro-linguistic programming. So I've just clubbed all of these three things together for you to understand how we react or behave. So are you with me, all of you? Okay. So now we directly jump into some of the tools to manage this change in ourselves. How to reprogram. Any questions before that? I'm open to any insights that you're getting, anything that you want to talk about around the tool. Are there any exceptions for this tool to? Brain works autopilot, so depends on how you have, what kind of threat level you have attached to that information, that is how you're going to react. So then I can't think of any exception. But what you can do is, so how many of you have stage fright? Right? And how many of you are absolutely confident coming on the stage? Yeah? Now, if we'll do this exercise a little later, but the people who have stage fright have a different set of programming in themselves. So the fear levels are different. Threat level to survival ho jata hai. Do you know the concept of adrenaline effect? So so human beings are formed, our bodies are formed to fight the wild animals, hunt them down and get our food. So the brain is designed, there's no exception. If crocodile comes in front of you, you'll do what you need to do. But sometimes, you know what happens? There's a crocodile hunter photographer, wildlife photographer, who was eaten up by a crocodile. Because what he did, he programmed himself and created the threat level very low. Itna low कि वो सामने है and he didn't flight. He didn't, run away. So yes, exceptions happen when you have programmed yourself other way around.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking that question. So remember that all things that are associated with high-level threat are not bad. So as a woman, when I go to Delhi, after 8 o'clock, I have programmed myself that it's unsafe. Now, is it true? Actually, it's not true. Many women go out. But that programming helps me, save me from a potential danger. Do you have any such high threat levels which will actually protect you? But there are some threat levels, like coming on the stage. Your brain perceives it as, if your brain perceives it as high threat level, then you'll feel those physiological changes and react. Okay. So his question is that, does this threat level change basis our experience? And my answer is absolutely yes. So we have a pet dog at home. His name is Scooby, and he's quite huge. But we always say that he's not a dog, he's a donkey. He's not at all, nobody should get scared of him because he's very, very docile, very lazy. But people do get scared looking at him. It's not about the dog, it's about how you have programmed. So my little daughter is absolutely comfortable with dogs because she has seen us being comfortable. But if there are some parents who are perceiving, or who, the child sees the parents getting very scared of dogs, then what will happen? The child perceives that it is high threat level. So that's how, yes, experience do impact the programming. And that is why different people react to different things differently.
Ma'am, what is the difference between mind and brain?
Good question. We will talk about it in break because it is very, very debatable. For now, let me say hardware and software. Brain is actually the hardware part of it, and mind is the software programming that you can change. Does that answer? But there are plenty of debates around it. Different people think differently. So where I'm coming
because
from...
what I felt was, whatever thoughts in our mind, finally that thoughts gets processed in our brain, which is nothing but hardware. It becomes reality in our life. That's what my understanding is, but I just want to know from your point of view whether there is a difference, or people say it's the same. But if you just sit just like that, your brain can't talk to yourself. It's a mind which talks to you.
Absolutely. So we are on the same page. Mind is the software, brain is the hardware for this context, for different contexts. So you go to behavioral scientists, they'll say something else. So understand the gist, what they're trying to say. Don't get into words because that's like highly debatable. For this session, what we are saying is mind part is the software that can be reprogrammed, and brain part is the hardware. Reptilian. Okay. Both cannot work without each other, by the way. Any other question? Or any other comment about the tool? Do you think it's going to be helpful for you to realize how you're reacting?
Excuse me. Yeah. Can you reprogram whatever you think about your thoughts or yourself? Basically?
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's why these programs are transformational. There are coachings, you can reprogram yourself. Today I'll share with you a couple of tools. And you know what, the good news? The good news is, A for Apple. है ना? So I've been to almost all the cities in India, big cities. Been to UK, US, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Jamaica, and everywhere. Trained around like more than 10,000 people. But everywhere, whenever I asked, A for Apple. The good news is that programming is as simple as that. Not like C++ and Java. Engineer, by the way. So I know. So it's not as complex. So people who have kids here, what age do you start teaching your kids A for Apple? 1 year? Kabhi-kabhi to ekdam, let's just talk to them. They don't even know what is an apple. But you start teaching them A for Apple. Agree? So similarly, sometimes you can just keep repeating stuff over and over again. You don't even know what it is, but just repeat it. And you can program it. That's also the concept of affirmations. Anything else?
Approximately how much time it would take? You are saying simply reprogramming. It may not be that easy, as you don't write software there. You just need to train the mind. So to do that, approximately, say a person who has developed for 30 years some attitude, how much time it would take for them to reverse it?
Okay. So I'll first give your answer logically, biologically, what happens inside. Okay? So when we say A, there are some neural connections to anything that is related to A. So A for apple, now again my drawing skills, but whatever. So you make those connections. Now, biologically, if you keep repeating it 21 times, what it says is that those neurotransmitters create a permanent pattern. So any habit that you want to build, any change that you want to get, minimum 21 times, keep repeating it, 21 days. Right? Brain stores information in patterns. Right? So it's not about 0 and 1 pattern that we have in computers, but brain stores information with 5 senses.
How do you correlate between brain and intellectual here?
Raise your hand. Okay, yes.
How do you correlate between intellectual and brain?
Intellectual and brain.
Yes.
Software and hardware.
No.
You know the answer?
No. How do you see? How do you? Because
Do you know the answer?
this is actually brain is more of a sensing part. Sense. I will correlate it as a sensor. Sense.
Okay.
One part of the sense.
Okay.
And intellectual is how you drive the sense.
How you drive sense. What is driving sense?
So you have the sensors. You said there's the 5 senses, right? So when you, for example, when a mosquito bites you, so you will immediately react.
Because
right?
that goes to
high
reptilian brain. Yes.
high brain. Yeah, high part.
Should I attempt answering that question?
Sorry?
Should I attempt
Let's
answering?
hear him out
what
first,
I
and
said
thank
was
you
what
for volunteering. So
If anybody wants to answer, please welcome. Yeah.
Basically, intellect, the way if you put it into Sanskrit, it is buddhi.
Yeah.
Buddhi is something which tells you what to do, what not to do. That's an experience. So Viveka, buddhi, what comes is, the intellect is what are to be done, what cannot be done. Because you train yourself certain things to do. And like if fire is there, if you don't have that intellect, you will go and put your hand again and again there, like what you were talking about, the crocodile thing. So the same thing, intellect is one thing which tells you what to do, what not to do. That's again a form of a mind adoption. So mind and brain and mind, if you are differentiating, it's adoption of mind. At what level mind is going is intellect.
Okay, so for volunteering to help, here's a smiley. Give him a big round of applause. And a big round tha. Big energy. Okay. Thank you. So I know you're not fully satisfied. We can take it up in the break. Yeah. But simply answer my understanding, and we can all agree to disagree. But this is a non-ending topic. But let me just quickly tell you, intellect is about what you learn cognitively. So this is your neocortex.
Yeah, ma'am,
Yeah?
excuse me.
How do you define?
So wait, let me answer that first, and then we'll move to next question. So neocortex has a lot of, so we learn through cognitive brain, right? So all that is there, problem solving, decision making, whatever you have learned goes into your definition of intellect. So whatever your neocortex does. Emotional intelligence, IQ is that. Emotional intelligence is what happens in the limbic system and how you are able to put the information from limbic brain to neocortex. So we'll talk about it in details maybe in the break, but are you all with me so far? Okay, so last question.
Ma'am, one last question.
Yeah, the thing is, how do you define thinking? Thinking, innovation, as innovation doesn't depend on your previous knowledge.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have a previous knowledge about something, then how can you think of something which doesn't exist? So could you explain in your mind or in your way, how do you define thinking and new discoveries or invention? Okay, say any new invention or predictive models. Okay, how do you create a model which will be able to predict which is likely to happen rather than a reactive process or reactive phenomena where you have
You
knowledge
have
from the
prior
past and
knowledge,
you know,
yes.
which a machine learning or any of those things do. But how do you say
So that's
something?
a very, very intellectual and deep question. Where does creativity and innovation come?
How do you think, and how will you rate thinking against mind, brain, and some of those things?
Absolutely. So, sir, first of all, let me ask you, do you know the answer? You don't know the answer, then whatever I say will be acceptable.
No, the thing is, if I would have known, I would not have been here.
No, no, no. So I'm just asking you, if you have some insights, it'll be
No,
amazing.
No, I don't
So-
know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So whatever limited knowledge I have, let me just share with you. So there are two sets of people who talk about this topic. Okay, one is the behavioral scientists. What they say is that your brain can only think what you have experienced, seen, and done before. Now, it could be very, very deep memory. It could be your capability to problem solve. It could be anything. But you cannot think about something. So you saw a mosquito flying, and maybe that gave you an idea, why can't people fly? So you understand those concepts, that intellect gets you to more creativity and innovation. So everything exists. So the more creative you are, you're able to create that analogy, metaphors, and utilize it to bring it to real life. That is what had happened in our ancient, if you look at the Gita and the Mahabharatas and all. Now the second part to it, and this is the spiritual scientists. And I don't want to get further deeper into it because then it'll be a different session altogether. But spiritual scientists believe in something called energies, believe in something called beyond our senses, which is, by the way, the sixth sense. Okay? So these are the two lines of thinking or thought processes about creativity and innovation. Now, not getting too much deep into it, but that's how we create or innovate stuff. We'll move ahead now.
Yeah, ma'am, one last question. Yeah. Can we change our character by changing our thought process?
Raise your hand. Where are you?
Back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, super.
Can we change our character by changing our thoughts? Because
Yes.
as Alan says in his book, as a man thinketh, so the character is the sum of our thought process. And that is nothing but brain, right?
Sir, our own Buddhaji says, what you think, you become. Gita says that. Every mythological or Veda that you pick up, any book, it says that. Alchemists say that. So it's all about programming of the brain. So yes, to answer your question, you can completely rediscover, rejig, and recreate yourself by changing how you think. People have come out of cancers. Anita Moorjani, I don't know if you know about her, but there are a lot of these case studies where people have even cured themselves from heavy diseases just by programming the brain. Does that answer your question?
But let's say something comes
He's
from
not
our
happy.
genes.
Sorry?
Let's say something comes from our genes or from DNA. Let's say my father-in-law or my father or my grandfather having BP. So if I think I don't have BP, and if I change my thought process, but still I will be getting BP. So what is the answer for that?
So you know what? My mom has diabetes. And I never have fear that I will have diabetes. And there are cases where people don't have diabetes and their parents have. But it is also programming. Because I met with this person and I was coaching him. And he had programmed himself. He said, maximum I'll live is 35 years of age. And young chap, 23 years old. And he said, because nobody in our family has survived beyond 35. And what you're telling your brain? 35. How many of you have cried watching a movie? Please be honest. Why? But that's the imagination. That's not true. Why would you cry? You relate. You know what? Brain is buddhu. Absolutely a fool. Whatever you tell your brain, it will agree. All is well, remember? Buddhu hai. You tell it, all is well, it will agree. You tell it, genes, I am reprogramming my genes. By the way, scientifically also it's possible to reprogram genes. But you tell your brain, oh my God, I have headache. And brain will say, oh, headache? Come on. It'll evoke. So all of this is how you are programming. We tell our children, don't go out in the rain. You'll fall sick. Now you're programming your brain, your child. Whenever he goes out, he'll actually fall sick because you are programming. Now, aren't there children who dance in the rain? Do they fall sick? I love golgappas. I have a friend who's like, no street food. And she actually gets sick. I never get sick. I am a little fat. But remember, no, you don't need to actually remember, but I'm telling you one truth. My eyesight is perfect. I have no diabetes. I don't have any possible ailment. Absolutely fine. Do all people who are a little overweight are sick? No. So it's a generalization that we have made. And I can talk about, the whole sales industry today. They are working on these generalizations. If you are not 36, 24, 36, then you don't look good. Because this industry needs to sell ready-made clothes. And just because you have to sell some standard sizes, you want people to become those standard sizes. So, again, debatable. We can change it. Sorry? Tell me, in the history, are there people who have lived 3,000 years? There are. Yeah? So what he's saying is, if I don't have disease and I keep reprogramming, I can live for 3,000 years, yes.
Okay.
See, all our sadhus and sons, all of them who've been to Himalaya and done things, they are all scientists. They are not sadhus. They're scientists. They have the ability. They have learned something that we don't know. But they have lived. So now, I'll stop it right here because we just have 3 hours. Are you okay with that? But I'm really happy with all of you. At least you're asking questions. I'm a little scared of you, sir, because you're asking really deep questions. But I would love to connect with you and talk more about this. And, this has a spiritual side, so don't want to get that into it. So, okay to move ahead? So I have, look at the first tool. Let's do that. 21 times? Super. Okay. So how many of you drive the car? All of you. So when drive the car with your wife or your spouse? Why that smile? Okay. So when you're driving the car with a friend or spouse or anyone, and you're driving like really fast, who's more scared? Agree? And I can vouch, my husband is really scared when I drive, so he never makes me, and that's a generalization in his mind. Women don't drive well. But anyway, so when we are going through or implementing change, as project managers, in your roles, there is more change than anyone else's role, right? You get a project to implement change. Agree? So there's a big aspect of leading that change. So first thing that you always remember is, while you are leading it, you are less scared. But people who are you managing have their threat levels high. With that in mind, we'll move to the next tool. The next tool is very, very common tool, and I won't be surprised if you say that you know it. How many of you know about this? Change transition curve. By the way, there's a mini quiz after this. So remember these names. Change transition curve. Have you heard about it? No? Super. Yes. Okay. So now I don't have to repeat it. It's like the first-hand information. So how generally, it talks about how generally the reactions of people are in times of change. Okay? When there is give me an example of a change. So for example, let me take one in your life. So in project management, say for example, you have to get into a different system from maybe, sorry? Waterfall. Okay, so from one software A to software B, you need to implement it across the organization. Is that relatable? Now, when you go to the people, there is one set which is the hardware. Hardware is, ye process hai, this is the SOP, this is the manual, these are the timelines, these are the milestones. All of this, and you are geared up to do that, you've done that, you've made your team do that, made a plan. Agree? So that's the hardware part. This that I'm going to talk about is a software part. The first reaction that people might have, and there are exceptions in this, by the way, but this is the general stuff, is denial. Nahi, nahi, ye aayega hi nahi, this won't come. They are not even open to talk about this upcoming change. They won't come to your meetings. They won't talk if they come to the meeting. They just totally ignore. Have you seen these people? Stakeholders? So that's the phase that they are in, which is called denial. Have you been through this stage? Personally, professionally? Remember? Okay. So it's normal, it's natural, because change is a threat. So first thing, when they are in denial, which brain is active? Tell me. Neocortex is active? The reptilian brain, because it's high threat level. Okay, so then we move on. So once, they agree, okay, yeah, this change is now in my favor, I need to take it up. The next stage that comes is resistance, which is all these signs. You feel frustrated, you're like, why this change? I didn't want this, we are doing well, what is the benefit? They'll start asking you a lot of questions. There's an underlying fear. I don't know how to do this, and I don't want to learn anything new. I don't even know how much time will it take for me to learn. I'm not a tech-savvy guy. And they might not cooperate with you. Seen these people? Have you been there? Thank you for being honest. How many of you have been there? I looked at you and then, so all of us, we've all behaved that way, and that's normal. It's okay. Then comes a stage when you stop resisting. And when you start, acha, ab to karna hi padega. This is like, I have to do it. Then we get into an exploration phase. Okay, so how we can do it? So learn new things, get into that, understand the rationale behind it. Oh, acha, this is what it will do, and then they'll start exploring what is their role in it. And the last stage is commitment. When people are in commitment stage, let's get it done. They are cooperative, they'll create a new normal. There are some people who will help you out, who will join your project. Agree? So this is called a change transition curve. The idea is, first think about it from your angle. Remember, to grow in this time of change as a person, as a professional, one thing remember, the more time you spend in denial and resistance, the farther you are lagging behind. The more you are lagging behind. So even if your brain is throwing up those options to you, that this can happen, that can happen, spend relatively less time in denial and resistance. And our objective is to quickly get into the exploratory mode. Yeah? But it's better said than done. How can we do that? Again, a gyan. Going on in your mind? So I'm going to show you a couple of tools so that you can reprogram yourself to reduce this time. And this tool is called Internal Representation System. Quickly, think about what your mom cooks the best. My mom cooks rajma, the best in the world. You thought about your mom? What does she cook the best? Now imagine that you're going in a marketplace and you see someone with that bandi and he's cooking the same thing. Okay? So I'm going to explain this here, but think about it. So he's cooking the same thing. Imagine the whole situation. Oh, so I've practiced it really hard. This is a human face, and it doesn't look like me, please. But whatever you can imagine. Can you relate this as a human face? Yeah, good. Okay, so when you are going in the marketplace, what do you see? You see person cooking something on the bandi. So that is visual external. You're seeing different people going around. You see the marketplace. Then what else? Visual. So you can see the cars going around, people moving around. That's your visual external. You're with me? Now you also hear some sounds, which is auditory external. What is auditory external? So you might be hearing the sound of the vehicles, sound of cooking, right? People talking. So that is auditory external. And then there is something called kinesthetic, touch, taste, smell, feeling. So you might be able to smell the food or smell the pollution, but that is called KE. Kinesthetic, external. You are with me so far? People at the back, enjoying? Hello? Okay. So AE, KE. I'll ask you these questions, especially the one sitting in the back. Now, tell me, when you see someone cooking the same thing as your mom, and which your mom cooks the best, what is the visual that comes inside your mind? Mom cooking last time when she cooked, or some visuals? People eating together. So that is called VI. Now tell me honestly, what are you going to tell yourself inside? Which mom was here? I'm going to call her and tell her to make this today. My auditory internal used to be, oh my God, what life, man. I can't just go back to my mom and ask her. She's like so far that I can't have food of her hands. I mean, and I would feel very bad about it. So that is kinesthetic. So I said this to myself, that is AI, and then what I said to myself made me feel what? Very frustrated, very angry on myself. Why can't I just take 2 days holiday and go to her? So that was KI, what you feel inside. You remember we were saying, gussa hota to where do you feel in your body? So those are the feelings that I'm talking about, the energy flowing in your body when you tell yourself something. So essentially always remember, AI here is not artificial intelligence, it is auditory internal. Good, I'm impressed. So remember, what you tell yourself is directly proportional to how you feel. So people who have stage fright, they tell themselves, mostly these are the normal sentences that say, oh my God, this is such a big audience. What if I forget I have to say something? What will they think of me? Oh my God, my career. So all of this is my auditory internal. And obviously, you are sending signals to your brain that you are feeling nervous, and your brain will start responding by telling the body, nervous wale signs start kar do. So your body will start shaking or whatever happens to you. Agree? But people who have amazing confidence on the stage, what do they tell themselves? Dekha jayega. I've done this before. Kya ho gaya, bhul gaye to? So the auditory internal, what you tell yourself is very different from what you hear from outside. Your internal world is different from the external world. Agree with this? And your programming happens at an auditory internal level. What you are telling yourself. So when I was doing my master's in NLP, our trainer told us to just in next 1 week, listen to what you keep saying to yourself. Those are thoughts, by the way. Those are some thoughts produced based on your experiences, and your brain keeps throwing those thoughts to you automatically. So programming happens at that level. The sooner you are able to change and make it like more empowering thought, how do you change that? A for apple. So for 21 days, keep telling yourself, I'll rock the floor. It's okay. One person told me that, you know what, before going for any specific meeting, and if I'm feeling nervous and I identify that I'm feeling nervous, then what I tell myself is, hey, everybody there is Mickey Mouse and Donald Ducks. His way of looking at it. But it reduces his threat level. So what is that you going to program yourself? What is it? Frame like 4 or 5 sentences. Keep saying that, repeating that to yourself. Feel that. Imagine that. You're on the stage. Get all your senses together. Give that new person to your brain to think about. That is you on the stage. And I can promise you, you'll be a different person when you come on the stage. It's as simple as that. With me? So it's more about programming of your auditory internal.
That kid, every time I'm pulling out, he's right there. Man, someone needs to talk to his parents, if they're ever at home. What is up with the traffic today? And always, every day, this intersection's always crowded. I hate pulling out of here. I need some of these dumb roads. Oh, there's... Okay, so I'm not even here. Right. Great lady. The princess of parking. Oh, sure. Take the spot. Way to be considerate. Oh... Kidding me? Unbelievable. Oh.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
It's about time. Let's see, what do I want? Yeah, could I add a cookie to that order?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem, only guy in the world. I'm sure you need your cookie. The world, your oyster, and he's serving your cookie.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
What can I get for you?
Yeah, I'll have a tall decaf macchiato.
Yeah, sure, no problem. $3.85. And it might take a few minutes here. We've got quite a line, obviously, and thanks for your patience.
Great. Yeah, great. Great for me. Winning again. Unbelievable. What? What is... What is that? What in the world? Oh, what? What am I supposed to do? How can I do anything about that? Can I even help with that? I don't.
Your coffee, sir.
Oh. I I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, what?
Sorry, so sorry.
Hey, buddy, come here.
We end up talking a lot to ourselves in our own way. You have your team members, you have your stakeholders. They have their world and they're dealing with their world. So I know you've already got the message. So the tool number 1 that we just talked about was AI. Not the one that you are going to learn in the second half. It's the auditory internal. So just be a little more aware of what you're telling yourself, and your reaction will change. How you behave with people, how you react to things will automatically change. So with that note, let's take a quick break. Yeah? So first of all, just tell me, how are you feeling right now? Audio, visual not matching. You're saying good, but I don't see happy faces. How are you feeling right now? Good? Okay, so wait for more to come in. And 11:15 is when we're coming back. Satya, you want to just...
I'm sure there's a lot more going to come up in the next 90 minutes. So this was our first 100 minutes of the session today. Thanks a lot, Bindu. That was really insightful. And we definitely look forward to the next session. And we hope we get more enriched.